Hey guys, how's it going? Today we are going to start off with a little bit of work out here in our orchard. I need to thin the nectarine tree that's right behind me, and I already did this year. I already removed half of the fruit it set early on when they were real little. We were walking around out here the other day and I realized how many fruit were on this tree and how much weight this tree is bearing. Oh my goodness, like look at this one branch. All of these fruit, that is way too many, way too many. I had no idea. I thought that we were already done with this chore, so we're gonna go in and we're gonna just remove a ton of this weight here today, like a ton of it. We've also got two peach trees on the other side we're gonna be thinning. They're not weighed down like this one is. This is the worst, but it's something that we have to get done today because we're expecting the tail end of Hurricane Hillary to arrive at some point. So we have a drop of 20 degrees from today to tomorrow, and then we have severe weather warnings and flash flood warnings. So if we do get all of that rain and this tree is already bearing all the weight of this fruit, the tree for sure will snap in half. I'm also going to remove all of the fruit off of our Honeycrisp apple tree. Pretty much all of it, I think. Yeah, you can see all the wormholes. You're supposed to spray apple trees every 2 weeks from like the time that they start setting their fruit, like blooming and starting setting their fruit, all the way until the end of July, and I only sprayed them one time. It's just something that I didn't think about and something I don't really want to have to do out here, so I got to try to figure out something different we can do. The other trees I don't have to spray other than our dormant spray application, which is, you know, something I usually don't forget because we're not as busy that time of year. Anyway, I just figured that if we remove these fruit, then the tree will be relieved of one, the weight as well, even though it's not like succumbing to the pressure yet, but also we won't tax the tree's root system by trying to ripen all of these buggy apples. So we're early enough in the morning now that it's pretty pleasant out here at the moment. So this is just a chore that I'm just gonna have to stand here and do. And really, like, I'm not concerned about keeping a tremendous amount of fruit on each branch because the whole tree is loaded. This is a flavor top nectarine right here. And I really wish I would have noticed it sooner. Oh my goodness. It's a happy tree. I mean, we'll give it that. Okay, so let's just get after this and get this done. It'll make me feel a whole lot better. Tree looks so much better. I am amazed. And there's still a ton of fruit on it. I could probably thin more, but look at this in the back of the gator. Just piles and piles. I don't know how many, like hundreds of fruit we have in the back here, but a lot. And I did take off some foliar growth too, stuff that didn't have nectarines on it. Just like that weaker growth, but the ones that had a lot of leaves, because if rain does come, that's a lot of weight that this would create. So we just lighten the load. I can breathe easier for this tree. It looks so much better. I mean, look at this one branch, and it will pick up even more because it was getting kind of used to being weighed down. So the wood starts to harden that way. But now that the weight has been lifted, it's had a chance to correct a bit, and I expect it to correct even more. Let's come around this side. You can see how many fruit are just still left on there. But there's plenty of light and airflow around each one of the branches. And you can see here kind of how much space I tried to leave. Now, if I would have got after this a little sooner, I think that we would, in the end, have a little bit larger fruit, which thankfully I had already thinned it this year. I mean, the amount that this tree is producing is insane. You know, when I thinned them before, they were about this big, like maybe the size of a quarter, and they were all like really hard and green. And I removed, like I said, about half of what was on this tree, knowing that this tree couldn't support that many, not realizing how many were actually still left on here. So, you know, this fruit will still have time to size up more and before it starts to ripen. But had I got after this thinning process even sooner than this, we probably would have even more larger fruit. And that's the whole goal of thinning, is not taxing your tree too much, because that's a tremendous amount of energy that tree would have to send into ripening all of those fruit. And that way it has more energy to send to all the fruit that are left, so that they get nice and big, and the tree stays healthy and stays intact. The tree doesn't fall apart if you get rain or wind. So tree number 1 is done. We'll keep our eyes on it, just make sure, you know, if we need to come out here and remove anything else. I feel better about taking off some of that outer growth that would weigh the branches down even more. In fact, I feel like I could come in and take more. I was taking off stuff like this. And I think my approach with this tree, this variety, at least in particular, is I'm going to prune a heck of a lot more of it when it's dormant. I left a lot of little branches that I probably shouldn't have. So yeah, we'll be doing a much more thorough job, and then we won't have as big of a crop to thin out to begin with. Okay, while we're in the same location, let's go ahead and remove all these apples. This will be a pretty easy job. Honeycrisp apple has been removed of its apples, so now it can just keep focusing on root development and staying healthy, all but one, because this apple looked pretty good. This is the first year this tree has set fruit, which I was about ready to give up on it, because this is year 3 and everything else, including our Fuji, has been very productive in this space while this one just sat here. So that part is a bummer, but I wanted to mention that while it's hard to watch this because you're seeing food, you know, go into a bin, thinning your fruit trees is part of it. That's part of the process, and you have to do that. So all of this, normal. Apples, that was my fault for not staying on a spray schedule, but you know, you learn every year things that you cannot skip doing. But the good thing about this is that these are going to feed Bethany's pigs. So every time we have something like this happen, and it's bound to happen, I think it happens for everybody, something falls between the cracks and you just don't get to it. I just love that we have a way for this produce to be used up. So whatever we end up with in the bed of this gator today, all of it will be going to Bethany's pigs. So it will be feeding something. I don't know why, but that eases my conscience in a way. Oh, gotta grab my shoes. Wonderful part about this grass in here is that you can be completely barefoot. I love it. And what a pleasant morning out here. Look at this, minus the tub. Let me move the tub. That's ruining it. Look. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, see, look at this Fuji tree, you guys. Like, there are a few apples that have a little bit of worm and damage, and I'll kind of pick through today, but largely untouched, looking beautiful. I don't know what the difference is. Okay, here are the peach trees. Similar situation as the nectarines. This is a Snow Beauty white peach. Oh my word. I also removed about half the fruit that these set earlier on, so I have no idea where all of these appeared from. And then right over here we have Alberta peaches, which I need to probably, when I come in to do my pruning this next year, I'm also going to be taking off bottom branches, because this is just a huge pain for Aaron to get around when he's mowing. I don't really want to do it today because it's bigger cuts, and I'm only just making small cuts today. So that's something that's on the docket to fix later. Oh, look at the little jumping spider. Cute. Anyway, this one's loaded too. You just can't see them quite as good because they're the same, almost the same color as the leaves. Okay, so let's get it done. all done and these trees look so much better. So here's the Snow Beauty White, which these peaches have already started to put on their colors. So I honestly, like, they're still really hard. So they'll probably size up a bit, but they would have sized up way better had I done this at the right time. But you know what? Better late than never. Better to get the fruit gone so that we don't deal with any issues with too much weight. They look so much better. Now, on this one, like I said, I'm gonna come in and probably take off, let's see, this one, this one, this one, that one, and probably this one. So we'll have a trunk that starts at the ground and goes up to here. Yeah, I think that'll make it a lot easier to get around it. Now, I decided to go ahead and take after this one because I realized it was only 3 cuts, I think. Yeah, 3 cuts, and they weren't as big as I thought they were going to be. I thought there was much more that was going to need to be cut. And those were, especially on the back side of the tree, they were laying on the ground already. So that's no good. Decided it was better just to get those off. If you come in here, you can see thinned out peaches. And these definitely have a long way to go. Oop, missed one. They have a while to go yet until they'll be ready to harvest anyway. So I expect these to actually get a little bit bigger than those. And then I came through and cleaned up just a few of these apples, a few branches that were kind of cruising back toward the inside of the plant, which is oftentimes what I do during the pruning season. Oh, I missed one. See, don't want to keep that. And you know what? Bethany already came and got a big bunch of what I took off the trees today, and then she'll take the last of it here in a couple of days. She said it'll take a bit for the pigs to get through that first batch. But that makes me so happy to know that they'll get a treat out of the whole deal. The weirdest part about this whole storm coming in is that it says, okay, so today's high is 97, tomorrow's high is 78. Usually with just a 10-degree drop, we have a big bunch of wind, and it's like very lightly breezy right now, which is normal, but there is not a single wind symbol at all on my forecast. It just has the temperature drop and rain, 80% chance, well, 50% tomorrow, 80% on Monday. So yeah, I don't really know what to expect. Okay, now that that chore is done, I want to run and grab corn and onions from the garden, I think. And then I've got a birch tree that Isley sent out. It's the Cinnamon Curls birch. It's absolutely gorgeous. I envisioned putting it around the pond, but then it just didn't work out, and that happens sometimes. So I'd like to get that one planted out in the landscape because it's currently in a wood box, which I think it's fine, but it takes a tremendous amount of care to keep it dry, or wet rather, because it wants to dry out. It's root bound in there, and I think it needs to be in the ground. So I would like to get that done as well. You're welcome, fruit trees. A little late, I know. Oh, wait a minute. This branch has been driving me crazy. Oh, that looks better. right, so I got the onions and the corn. I ended up harvesting the rest of the candy onions that were out there, and they are behind the barn drying and curing now, and then a few more of the Walla Wallas that were ready to go. And then I did find some corn. And I've just been harvesting 4 ears at a time as we've been wanting to eat it. Oh, it looks so good. This is the Ambrosia Bicolor 75 Day, super sweet and delicious. And I usually know it's ready to pick when the silks on top kind of start to dry up a bit. And then this is the Cinnamon Curls Birch Tree. I'm actually in front of the greenhouse because I need to go water in there before we plant, but I'm very excited about this one. I love the bark. It stays really small. I can't reach the tag, but I want to say it tops out like at 8 feet by 6 feet. We'll double check when I get it down. But anyway, this is the box I was talking about. We have to cut that apart and we tear the box apart to get it out. But it's pretty rooted in there. And I mean, the water just shoots right through. And usually this one, I need to water twice a day when it's in a container. It just needs regular moisture once it's planted in the ground. But some plants are just harder in containers than others to keep real happy. So I'm gonna water, we'll gather our supplies to plant this, and then we'll go out and get it in the ground. All right guys, it's been a couple of days, but we did get the birch tree in the ground. It looks really good. It's replacing a ginkgo we had out here that just all of a sudden died with no explanation. Like the whole top died. It looked like there might be a little bit of life pushing from the bottom, but anyway, decided to remove that and put the birch tree in its spot, and it looks great. Look at that. It just tucked in beautifully. So right in this spot, we've got a black lace elderberry, the limelight prime hydrangeas, there's the Asian moon buddleia, and a blue sky Serbian spruce, which is my favorite evergreen that we own. I love that tree. This one, because it only grows, I think 8 by 6, we'll go look at the tag again. It's just gonna be perfect right there. It'll have that really beautiful peely bark with that white kind of coloring on it. Oh, it's gonna be great. It already is great right there. So the other day, right when I was getting ready to go out and finish this project and get the tree in the ground, Aaron texted me a picture of a leak that we had behind the Hartley. It was, maybe we could put the picture on the screen. It just showed a bunch of water on the ground, and he wasn't exactly sure where it was coming from, so I just had to stop what I was working on and help with that. It was on a Saturday. Actually, Paul came in and he helped us fix it, and he's back there right now, like re-leveling up bricks. We had to dig out from underneath one of those planting quadrants back there. The break was right underneath some of the Super Junior Bordeaux, which is so weird. I mean, it's a brand new water line, just run, I guess not brand new, 1 year old water line. We haven't planted anything over the top of it in a long time, so nobody hit it with a shovel or an auger or anything like that. It just simply broke. So we had to dig underneath the brick border and find the leak under there and get it fixed. So anyway, that's kind of what took over Saturday night. And then we had the storm come through, which I'm happy to report all of the fruit trees did beautifully. I am so happy that we went out there and got them all thinned out, because even though we did not get wind, which was a huge blessing, we did get tons and tons and tons of rain, which was a huge blessing. I mean, a huge rainstorm like that brings in such a saturating rain without the wind. I mean, that doesn't happen super often for us. It usually is accompanied by really strong winds, which when you get all that water weight on plants plus the wind blowing on them, that can mean disaster. And that's probably what would have happened to the fruit trees had all of those factors happen and we just weren't sure. Oh, look at that tree. It is so pretty. The poor thing got a little dried out, and then it was on its side during a windstorm earlier and got a little scorch. It'll be completely fine. Most of it looks really good and healthy. My favorite part though is this right in here. That is so, so gorgeous. So you can see as the bark starts to peel, it reveals like that creamy white underside, which turns more white. And the underside of the bark is that cinnamon color. You can see it maybe even a little better right down here. Look at how gorgeous that is. Oh, and this is one of the plants that Isley Nursery sent out to us not long ago. Cinnamon Curls Dwarf Korean Birch. Oh, 15 by 12. Oh, it'll be fine in this spot. I thought it only grew 8 by 6. I don't know what I was thinking. It'll be fine. It'll be great in this location. Hardy to negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Can grow up to a foot a year. Golden yellow fall color. Here's a look from this side. Honestly, I'm thinking like that 12-foot span. It'll be 6 foot from center, so 6 feet this way. The black lace will broaden out a little bit, so they will touch, but I don't think it'll be too much, which is okay. I kind of want this area to fill in more solidly eventually. And then this one has like a 12-foot spread as well, so those will meet probably in the middle. It's actually kind of perfect. I'll look from this side. I look from backed up. Eventually, like this gets 18 feet wide, this gets 10 feet wide, so this whole area will fill in one day. We've got squirrels dropping off presents all over. There is a walnut tree right there, and they bring us these. Anyway, that is going to be it for this project, and I am really happy that we went through the orchard and took care of some of those things in there. I know that Bethany's pigs were happy with the fruit that they got from it. I'm happy with how they're looking. It just feels like when I look at them, I feel more comfortable just looking at them, knowing that they're probably not going to snap from the weight of the fruit at this point, and they still have time to size up their fruit just a little bit. And you guys, we're actually expecting another thunderstorm in like the next 15 or so minutes. I don't know, it kind of looks like it might skirt around us just a little bit. It's kind of traveling to the south. We'll see what happens there. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.